You are my You.
Okay, cheers. First of all, cheers.
Good to see you, Rachel.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Sheri.
Cheers.
That was what I don't know, inspired me to get blacked out by myself. Was I was feeling down because no one's drinking anymore.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, Gen
Z
Z is all about the weed and the shrooms and ketamine and
then
ayahuasca.
people our age are giving up because they can't handle it anymore.
Or they're trying to get pregnant, or they don't have money. But, like, you work in a bar, right?
I work in 3 bars.
You work in too many bars.
Yeah.
I work in nightlife. I was like, this is bad for everyone. We need a replacement for alcohol.
Oh,
and also, I was like, I want to get fucked up and just meet people. And I did.
Yeah.
But I don't remember.
But you don't remember meeting them?
Right.
You busted your hand in your face, show the good people your scars.
Oh, yeah, I got this one.
That looks like you burnt yourself almost.
Yeah,
Well, that's road rash.
Ugh,
It was like on
So
the
you
gravel.
fell off a moped, or what's road rash from?
Walking.
Walking. Okay.
Damn.
Yeah. That's why I have enough skater friends.
speed
I
walking?
could have been like, oh, I was skating.
That's crazy.
I was kind of.
Speed walking.
Rachel,
Okay.
you're in your late 20s now. You need to start acting your age.
I know. No, I had a guy, shout out guy in my DMs, and he messaged me the next day, and he's like, "You're wild. That was so much fun last night. You're crazy." And he's like doing all these inside jokes, and I was like, "Dude,
You don't remember any
I
of
don't
it.
remember
Yeah,
you."
you're a fucking black
Oh, you don't
guy.
remember him at all. Oh
I was
my
like, I don't know
god.
what you look like.
Getting
Yeah.
fucking road rash, not
Yeah.
remembering anything. Look at you.
That's not like a thing that you do very often either, is it?
I don't see you ever like that.
No,
I've
that's why
never seen you
I'm
like
very
that.
good about. I
Yeah.
have 2 to 3 drinks, and I drink a lot of water as
Right.
well.
Right.
And then as soon as I start to feel too drunk, I walk my ass home.
Yeah.
Which is what I was trying to do.
I think me and
Good
Sheri
for you.
usually go by the gangster code, which is handle your stuff, do your stuff every day, and if you get too fucked up, time to drive yourself home.
Exactly.
Well, and same thing with like
Yep.
living in the suburbs. Like I can do this because I live in New York. You know,
Right.
Right.
If
Well,
I had a
yeah.
car, I probably would have driven it home and not remembered, and just like
Yeah.
I
'cause I
always
didn't have
remember. It's just,
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Here and there.
You don't get blackout, really.
No, I think the amphetamines help me not
They
get
keep you up,
blackout.
yeah.
Really?
Mhm, yeah.
Yeah.
like if you're drinking and doing a stimulant.
Sometimes exactly. Yep, you got it. Not
Yeah.
meth or anything.
I never blacked out in my life until like a year or two ago on accident because I was taking Adderall. And
Really?
Right.
like I was just drinking because I was on Adderall and I didn't feel drunk. And then before you know it was too much. You know?
just kept going.
And I didn't really even black out because I can remember, I don't remember all of anything, but I mean,
Yeah.
I remember, stuff. I don't remember like gaps or anything. I
yeah,
remember,
sometimes I forget like bits and pieces.
Sure.
Or a brownout.
Yeah,
That was like
yeah,
in
yeah,
college.
yeah,
It was like,
brownout.
I don't remember last night. And then your friend tells you something and we're like, oh, wait, yeah, I do remember
Right.
that actually.
But I wouldn't remember unless you told me.
Yes.
Right.
I got that thing where when I brown out, my senses kick in. I'll start drinking water. Time to go home. That sort of
Smart.
thing. I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Smart.
That's exactly how I feel. It's like drunk Rachel. The thing I usually do is I get drunk and I'll stop at the grocery store on my way home. And I'm always like going grocery shopping, and then I go home and I'll like eat food, drink water, put myself to bed. I was like,
God.
I'll try to clean stuff sometimes. I'm like, wow, drunk Rachel was really trying to help out.
Yeah.
yeah.
Raquel out here
Yeah.
cleaning, bro.
I love a good 24-hour grocery store where you go in there drunk in the middle of the night, sober up a little bit with those bright lights.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Get a little
some-
shower by the broccoli.
Yeah.
Get some taquitos.
Oh,
My,
yeah.
Ooh.
Taquitos are good
They're all right.
if you have something to dip them in.
Yeah.
You gotta have some good salsa verde,
Yeah.
I like them
Hot
when they're
sauce.
burnt too. Like microwave taquitos.
Oh no.
Not for
You
me.
gotta
You
put
need
them in
them
the
crispy.
oven.
Yeah, a
Toaster
crispy.
oven.
Dip them in salsa at least.
Air
For
fryer,
sure.
6 minutes. Give them a little shake at 3.
You have an air fryer?
Yeah, I got an air
I got
fryer.
air
I'm a
fryer.
grown up. Come on, what are you talking
Oh,
about?
wife
I have
got
a
one.
toaster oven.
Yeah, my wife got one.
Got
I
one
don't
of them,
have
too.
one, but there's one that
Your
exists.
wife.
There's
Time
one
out
that
and
exists.
go back to you saying your wife.
I was just saying it because she said it. You always be making a big deal out of stupid shit.
Stupid shit like holy matrimony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about
Yeah.
it.
That's exciting. I want to go to your wedding.
Ugh.
I'm going to a wedding tomorrow. I'm flying to Tennessee.
Oh,
Tennessee,
really?
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Johnson City.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So you're going to a wedding in Tennessee. How did they meet each other? Family reunion?
Yeah, cousin.
No, they're not cousin fuckers. They're not. They're
they
strangers.
met at a jazz club.
Oh, they have those in Tennessee?
No, in the West Village. Very classy.
Oh, really?
Wow.
That's
Luno.
cute.
Yeah.
But their wedding's in Tennessee. Do they live here?
No, it's because my friend is from Tennessee.
I
Nice.
see.
She grew up really like evangelical, small town, homeschooled.
But then you guys
You
met in the
just
city.
like that.
I was just
Brad
scared the
is
shit out of me.
triggered. He's like,
Yeah.
my life,
Yeah.
my dad. I don't know.
Sorry, I just reset, you know.
Son of a
Ugh.
preacher,
Someone
man.
just reset my Wi-Fi button. But
Yeah,
The evangelicals are out of control.
they're pretty wild. They used to be more out of control. I feel like they can't get away with
Really?
as much now that the internet's a big thing. You know, because when we were kids, they were just out there touching
That's
and brainwashing.
Yeah.
And
Catching
you
the
know,
Holy Ghost.
You know, keeping people in basements and like not letting them have any other point of view. Now it's hard to hide all that stuff. So.
That's true. Maybe
Yeah.
we're just more aware of it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Well, the internet lets you know everything now. You can't
Yeah.
hide it anymore.
There's a reason that our churches were like a pastor, like 3 people that are like important, and then like 14 weird guys with their weird families and their ugly kids. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what churches usually are.
Yeah, that's
We got a new pope.
That's
hell
true.
yeah,
By the way.
American Pope.
From
America,
Chicago
from
Pope.
Chi-town.
That's cool. I don't know much about him except that he said something about JD Vance that Fox News didn't like.
I'll tell you what.
I don't know.
I
I
know
don't know
nothing
about
about
him.
the Chicago Pope, but I
Yeah.
keep seeing stuff about it. You know.
I heard he let a pedo go or something, like some pedophile.
I think
in the
he had to
church.
do that to get the Pope shit.
Yeah, I mean, I would. You never
Oh, that's
know.
how he got in. You're
Yeah.
saying he did it recently? Or?
No, I don't know. I think
That's
he,
just on his history.
exactly.
Yeah.
He like brushed it under the rug.
Well,
you know,
that sounds pretty par for the course for the
Yeah,
the
it's
Catholic
like-
religion. So
that's priest for you.
it sounds like he's qualified to get the job.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
is there any other occupation where you're not allowed to have sex? I mean, as part of the job.
Well, I mean, unethically, like
Maybe a
therapists.
zookeeper.
You don't want that.
That's fair.
You don't want
yeah.
that.
At least at work,
Yeah, I mean, like teachers, obviously, but yeah,
Oh, right,
where
yeah.
you have to like take a
Yeah.
vow of chastity.
Yeah, it seems like religious positions are the only ones, right?
True.
Because nuns, same, but that's
Yeah,
also
but nuns are
Catholic.
lesbians.
But that's really only
Hot right here.
some of them are raging straights that just
Got it.
But most of them are lesbians. We can't agree. Nuns are what 80% lesbian.
They're
Yeah,
so
I think it's a hard-
ugly too.
Well-
like they're so fucking ugly. There was this nun when I was in 7th grade. She had such a mustache, and I gave her like a can of what is it called? Shaving cream. Sorry, I'm drunk and high since noon. And a razor, and put that shit on her desk because it's disgusting. Like you
For
walk
her
around like
mustache?
that. Yeah, you walk around like that, bitch. The fuck, man.
I mean,
They're ugly. They had to be that.
You're into feminine women, correct?
Yeah.
Like Katy Perry.
So-
or else Rachel wouldn't be here right now. No, I'm just kidding.
thank
I'm
you.
kidding.
But-
Thank you. Boy on the
but I'm
internet
not.
told me I
But
was
I am,
masculine
but I'm
yesterday.
But I'm saying there are some lesbians that would enjoy a woman with a mustache, probably, right? Not you necessarily, but
Like, yeah, the trans men.
well, yeah,
I mean-
or just a woman with a mustache. No,
Well,
Help me
true.
out
Maybe
here.
the
Am I
nun
wrong?
was a trans man before they were able to.
You know what? That's
transition.
very valid. That could be very valid.
Or-
yeah.
Venezuelan.
Sister Velashin
Yeah.
was her name.
Oh, so she was Venezuelan.
Velashin. That's a
Velashin.
cool name.
Yeah,
So
that
you went
was
to
her
a
name.
Catholic school?
Yep, when I got kicked out of public.
Catholic school,
That's
Christian
freaking-
school.
No, come on.
Public school.
Public school.
Well, your public school was a Christian school out in the
Yeah,
mountains,
pretty
basically.
much.
But
It was, yeah.
and I
They
went to
were
Christian school until I
Did you
was
really?
till I was a freshman in high school.
Jesus.
Did you guys have black people in your schools?
We had like one in my first high school.
But that was just because he worked in the coal mine and was
Exactly.
dirty.
He was the
Well, actually,
cafeteria manager.
in the mining areas, they have more black people. But definitely when I was my first high school, super white, we had one Jewish kid, like a couple of black
in
people.
West Virginia?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
someone
Like
had to own
maybe-
the mine.
Yeah,
But we
someone had to
didn't
be
know-
funny.
We didn't know any other like Jewish kids or like black people, so we sort of just gave
Recruited.
them all the street cred.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Right.
like, you're some random redneck black kid from our town, but you must be the coolest person in the world because you're as close to hip hop as we're gonna get.
Exactly. Right, and style and fashion and
same-
steal everything from them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was trippy. And then our one Jewish student was a bad representative, I would say.
Mm.
He was like incredibly
He was totally in debt.
nerdy and annoying and just not.
Well,
not
that
very
sounds like
cool.
any regular Jew.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
I
that's
don't
a
know.
subset of them. You know,
Yeah,
that's
true.
one kind.
They're nerdy. They're
And there are nerdy white people. There's nerdy
Yeah. Oh, for
black
sure,
people. There's
for
nerds
sure.
of all kind.
Yeah.
But
It's
I mean,
it's tough in small towns because you have to be like a representative. Of
well, when
your
you're little and you only
demographics.
know one type or one person of like one race or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
then that becomes your whole idea of what they are until, you know, your world broadens, you know?
Yes,
Right.
this is why I feel bad
Yeah.
for the people in my school. When I was in college, I hooked up with a guy because he was Jewish, and
Oh.
to me, it was like,
Exotic.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we were.
You're like,
hooking
give me
up-
that Old Testament dick.
He was
I'll give you
like,
this New
"Oh,
Testament
you're,
pussy."
You're like a preacher's daughter, and I said
Oh.
something I don't remember, but I don't know the terminology.
You're like, Assalamu lick my ass.
sure, that's what I meant. It was,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was one of
Salam.
those things they
Yeah,
say.
take me to the deli.
Yeah, I just broke a glass.
Broke a glass, sat on
I
it.
don't know. I was ignorant, and he sucked. He was a bad representative too.
Maybe you just attract bad people.
That could be.
Well,
well,
I
when you
mean-
fetishize someone, like if you're hooking up with someone because of their religion,
I think the closest I ever got is one time I dated a girl when I was younger because she looked like Sarah Silverman.
Okay.
see, that was yeah.
Yeah.
I would
see
do that
that.
too.
And she
I
was
see that.
nice.
She's hot.
She's a nice
I
girl.
see that.
Wait, what's Sarah Silverman doing these days?
She's still a comedian.
I think she's Jewish. I think she's being very Jewish.
But she had a Netflix show for a second that
Oh,
was
yeah.
like political or something.
Yeah, she
I
looks
don't-
like a horse girl. I don't know. I know she's riding horses. I don't know.
No, I love
Like
Sarah
that.
Silverman. She's so funny and so talented. A legend, really.
She's brilliant.
But yeah, she doesn't do stand up as much anymore, I guess, and doesn't make comedy as much. I think she's more involved
I
in
think she's
other
writing.
projects.
I think she's
Yeah.
writing.
I mean, I don't
Writing,
know.
Producing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good for her.
Yeah, she did. You know, she did it for 30 years straight. You know, you're
Fuck
allowed
yeah,
to
she did.
move a little slower at a certain
Well,
point.
she
you know,
had the Sarah Silverman show. Was it Show or Project on MTV?
on
Comedy
Comedy Central.
Central.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was so funny.
That went for a while.
Yeah,
And it was the
3
only one of
seasons,
its
yeah.
kind at the time,
Yeah.
especially for a woman. You're
It was way
Yeah.
ahead of its time.
Yeah, I think the Hulu show that she had, the like political one, got taken off there because of some controversy or something.
Makes
yeah,
sense.
see, that's why I want the juice. I don't know.
I just don't know exactly what it is. We could look it up, but you know, we
bunch
don't
of
need to talk
pussies.
that much. You know,
Yeah.
about
Yeah, get over
whatever.
Her.
unless
But you
want
get
to.
it. You would have
But,
hooked up with Sarah Silverman because she was
Oh
Jewish.
yeah.
She's funny.
I will say I feel like New York's buzzing right now. I mean, you're out getting blackout drunk, falling over. You know,
True,
Sheri's out here
true.
fucking killing it. The New York Knicks are maybe about to go
Knicks.
to the Eastern Conference Finals. Not that you care about that, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
basketball.
New York is New York seems very awake these days when
Yeah.
it seemed very sleepy over the winter.
Yep.
I know you're talking about the nightlife industry, and that is something we both have in common. We both work, you know, in like bars or clubs or whatever, and that's how we pay our bills.
Scary.
Are you noticing an uptick of the last couple months? Or are you feeling like it's kind of like leveled off? Or
It depends. So I guess there are still a lot of people coming out, and it's more if there's a theme night. So like lesbian night pops off.
What's
Right.
lesbian night?
Ever heard of it?
There's no such thing as that anymore.
I know it's hard
It's
because
queer
you have to.
or whatever.
Well, you
the
have
fuck.
it's unofficial. You have to turn people away. So it was like a lot of
What?
like
Well, you-
just cis straight dudes will show up to lesbian night.
What if I brought Brad? That's my friend.
You would have to vouch for him.
Exactly.
Like pretty hard
Okay.
at
tuck
the
it
door.
and duck it.
Like
you know?
I've seen them turn
Duct
people away
tape
at the
it, yeah.
door.
Tell them you're trans. Who gives a
Because
shit?
there's like also the dudes will come out. Last time I was there at the end of when the lights came on, and it was like 20 something straight dudes left,
Mm-hmm.
and all the lesbians had left. But it was like the dudes stuck around.
Lesbians don't stay out till 4 a.m.
No, they don't.
No, we're definitely.
If you haven't found a life partner in the bar by 4 a.m. and you're a lesbian, you're failing. You just turned straight at 4:02.
yeah, no.
That's how that works.
It's not
Yep.
working for you.
You turn back to a real girl.
Well, and they're gross.
Out.
The end of the night, you can smell people. They're like,
Oh,
Yeah.
That's so true.
No, thank you.
Do you mind talking about your place of business, or would you rather not?
Oh yeah, no, sure.
Because it's a pretty well known place in Bushwick. It's like I would kind of consider like one of the premier like Bushwick like gay clubs.
Yeah.
To be honest,
yeah,
It
House
is.
of Yes, baby.
you know, that's if you live in New York, you definitely know it. If you don't, you know, it's like it's a huge like club that has all different type of events, really. I mean, you can kind of explain it if you want.
Well, my favorite thing about House of Yes is when I worked there, I feel like I joined the circus a little bit because it's all live performances.
Yeah, they like
So
do
have,
acrobatics.
Yeah, they have like aerialists, and we have a real like lighting designer and sound stuff. Like we have it's a theater. Like I went to school for theater, and then it kind of
androgynous plate spinners, you know.
Yeah,
it really
I was
is.
like,
Yeah.
I
It
can't
really
believe I'm
is.
using my degree. Like,
Yeah, that's
who
crazy.
knew?
Yeah, when you think about it, that's pretty wild. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I love working there because the staff is cool. You know, it's so stupid and cheesy, but it's true.
No,
it's
that-
like the
that
staff,
helps.
we don't hate each other. I'm jinxing this, but it's like
that
I've
makes a
worked
big
many other
difference, yeah.
places.
You have to like your coworkers. to
Yeah,
keep
it's like the
going. Yeah.
staff versus the customers.
Right.
Always. It's like you close the ranks. Whereas some places it's like staff is infighting and all that.
Sure.
I don't have time
Yeah.
for that shit.
No.
I mean, what do y'all think, pro or con, being friends with your coworkers?
Pro, because
Yeah.
when you leave that job, you still have friends.
Well, okay, but I mean, yes, I do like people. It is nice to meet real people, especially non-artists or comedians. I'm sure you have artists that you work with there specifically, but I've always tried to create a distinct line with people I work with for some reason.
Oh yeah. They don't know the real me.
Right. I mean, just
Well,
because.
you work in an official professional setting.
Yeah, corporate
Yeah.
banking. Yeah.
But
yeah.
you're friends with some of your coworkers too.
They don't work there anymore. But
Oh, they're
yeah.
old coworkers.
Well, they're old coworkers, and they were also like under me.
I see.
So they were always under
That's
me.
a different power dynamic. You
Right.
can kind of fuck around a little bit when
Exactly.
you're above them.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
exactly.
You're like, I do
But-
more work than you. I know what I'm doing more, so I can,
Yeah.
do cocaine off the back of this,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
hubcap right now.
Exactly. And if you want to drink wine at your desk and say it's black coffee, go right
You
in.
know, we're friends. Just get your
Yeah.
papers in.
Exactly.
Everything's
Well,
fine. Yeah.
Fuck, good for you.
As
It's
it should
red
be.
coffee.
Exactly.
Yeah. That new red coffee.
That red pot.
Sometimes though, yeah, I've left jobs where I left and everyone else stayed, and then we don't hang out after.
Yeah.
Because their whole lives are about work, and then when you do see them, they're like, oh, they just talk about work actually.
I feel like the service industry is like being in a toilet, right? And they're constantly
Yeah.
trying to flush you down, but all your job is to just try to swim up to
with
the
the
top.
turds.
It just stay up, don't go down. You got to stay up, and it is very possible. You just got to keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
But once you leave that toilet and you go to a different toilet, they're spinning in their toilet.
They
You're
don't have
spinning in
time.
your toilet.
That's a problem too, is hanging out with friends. I'm like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
I'm at the club, come by, and they're like, I'm working my shift.
It was weird. I was hanging out with a bunch of people in their 20s the other day, and they were all like hanging out and like had hung out the day before, and we're gonna hang out the next day. And I was just like, what the fuck's going on with you guys? Like, what do you like? And they're all pretty, successful, smart people, and I like them and all that stuff. But I'm just kind of like, at what point, do you realize that like you can't do that all the time? You know what I mean? Like,
well, they're in their 20s. That's
Yeah,
what they
that's
do.
what
They
you
still
do,
have that
yeah.
college and high school mentality where it's like a tribe. We do this together. We do everything
Right.
together, Then they get a fucking life, and then they realize it's not that serious.
yeah, getting a life
you know?
is actually super overraid.
Oh,
I
yeah,
will
I don't
say,
like it.
you've avoided one,
I
right?
don't like it. Yeah, I've tried it. I've done
Oh,
it life,
yeah,
and I've
that's
dapped
right.
out, It's like,
Wait, were you
That's not for
engaged
me.
before?
no, I lived with a guy for like 8 years.
I see. Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah. I think that's, I don't know.
Not for you.
No, it was good and it worked well. But at that time, we did have a cohort of people that were always in our apartment. So like
course.
we
You had
lived in
a-
a 2-bedroom. At one point,
It
we
was
had
a
6
community.
people living in a 2-bedroom.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a
wow.
commune, bro. That's
Yeah,
a cult.
yeah.
It was more like a college dorm where you had like your college
100%.
boyfriend there all the time. Yeah.
Well,
That's kind of fun though. That's a fun experience.
We'd leave
I'm sure.
our door open.
Oh god.
Well, you've been to my building. It kind of feels like
Oh, it was that apartment.
yeah.
Oh wow.
It kind of feels like a dorm.
I didn't know you'd been there that long.
Yeah. I
That's
moved in
crazy.
2013. But we always said it was like, it felt like Friends or Seinfeld, where it's just a character comes in, you're like, well, they're here now. Like
Yeah.
one time our neighbor came into my apartment and ate a whole lasagna from our fridge.
What the fuck?
A 16-pound lasagna.
What an inconsiderate piece of shit.
He
Okay.
ate the whole thing, didn't even leave us any. And it was like
That's a spoiled, fucking, rotten, trust fund
Can we-
baby.
no, he joined the
What
military
the
after
fuck
that.
is this guy's name?
Whatever.
Garfield? Why? And why
Whatever.
do you have a whole lasagna just in the fridge, ready to go? Once you make the lasagna, don't you have a piece?
We had plans
Oh,
for that
disgusting.
lasagna. We were going to
Oh,
eat
God,
it all
it-
I
week.
believe it.
It was a
Yeah.
sex lasagna. I
Yeah.
see.
Damn, bro, that's
It's like, don't
fucked.
touch the sex
What was
lasagna.
his name? I don't remember his name, but we did have a fight about that. We're like, that's so unbelievably wild. But yeah, it
If
was
someone comes into my apartment unannounced and eats my lasagna, I will shoot them.
But
Yep.
that's like Seinfeld.
Right?
That's like Kramer eating
At
cereal.
least beat
He
you
just
up.
walk in and grab some cereal.
Yeah,
No, that's not cheap.
This motherfucker ain't Michael Richards. You know, he didn't star in Fridays
It's
from
not Jerry
1983 to
Seinfeld.
1986, and then you have a resurgence.
He never
as-
dropped the N-word in a mic.
He might have done that.
Hey, bad.
It'd be cool if he did.
Yeah,
Bad.
that's true. It was fun times, but no boundaries. Very
Right.
codependent. And then when you get in your 30s, everyone has boundaries. It's less
Well, boundaries are good. You know, you waste a lot of time giving people attention when you don't have boundaries. You know,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
just the time suck, in my opinion. But
I think I've just learned boundaries of it's common sense.
yeah, I
Where
feel
I
like
come
you're
from.
very good at this. Like, you have a good thing where you like are very open with people and you're
Self-aware
and
very
present. Like, if
self-aware,
someone talks to you, you're very in that conversation.
yeah.
But you still have your boundaries and you don't let people steal your time too much.
No,
you know,
like,
which is
what are you
that's a
talking
hard
about?
balance. I feel like I'm trying
Yeah.
to. I'm usually too curt and rude. I figured out how to draw my lines, but haven't figured out how to be openly super hospitable.
Right.
You know, while
Yeah.
I draw those lines, I guess. You
Yeah.
know, which I guess takes time. But
It takes time where I just tell them I don't feel like being here right now. In this, like in this conversation. You know? Like and
Yeah,
you've
sure.
heard me say that too.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
I love it.
Get out of my face.
If I were like, hey Sheri, could you give me a ride to LaGuardia tomorrow morning? I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I would say no. You got $50.
I mean, that's
mean,
the steal. $50 is not
$50
bad.
is less than a cab
Is it
ride.
really?
Yeah, last time I looked, it was
Well,
$100.
LaGuardia from your place or my place, which are similar distances. Yeah, it's about $50.
It's about
I feel
50.
like. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, the last time I had to catch a flight, it was over $100 for a wait and save
Ooh.
to LaGuardia. So I took
Yikes.
the subway to the subway to the subway to a bus. But
No.
yeah,
I'll bust to LaGuardia. I live in Queens though, so I kind of have a direct route, even though
Yeah,
it's like whatever,
Jackson
you
Heights,
know.
Elmhurst.
okay. So then if I asked you, I was like, hey Brad, could you give me a ride to LaGuardia tomorrow morning, please?
I would say, Rachel, I would love to give you a ride to LaGuardia. There's nothing that would stop me from giving you a ride to LaGuardia, but I don't own a car. I'm so sorry.
Well, see, that's a nice way to do it.
Yeah, but I secretly do have a car.
Oh, well then that's
See what I'm saying?
evil. Yeah.
No.
Maybe.
I do not have a car, but if I did have a car,
Mm.
I'm working tomorrow, you know. But if you
Yeah,
offered me
no.
$50 and it was like not during prime hours, I'd probably do it.
$50
you know?
is actually maybe worth it because it's like
Well-
it would pay for your gas.
Yeah.
As long as you get a good parking spot.
Yeah, well, I
Back
would just
in.
drop you off. I wouldn't even park.
Oh no,
Yeah,
not
when she
like
means
when
when
you
you
get a
come
parking
back.
spot back at your place.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I'd give you a ride to the airport if it was,
Oh, that
you
is-
know, I would do
that's
that.
nice.
I feel like I would, right? I feel like you would too if you had the time.
Not really.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't go far out of your way, but maybe.
No.
I think you would. I think you'd give me a ride to the airport if we lived by each other and it made sense.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Like if it was like before a show, like you have an 8 o'clock show and I got like a 6
Yeah,
o'clock
if we're
flight.
rolling and we're
flight.
hanging out or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you know?
I've done it.
Yeah, of course you have. You give
JFK.
people rides all the time. You act like you don't be giving people rides.
Ah, to JFK
Well,
or
yeah.
LaGuardia.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, wasn't that last time when you chucked so and so out of the car? We were driving and you're like, we were driving and you're like, you're getting off here.
I forgot about that.
I was
Left
so
him
high.
on the side of the road.
I thought he wanted to get
All
out.
right, let's not give away too much. Just
I
in
thought he
case.
wanted to get out. I don't understand because
Here's a
wasn't
little-
I dropping him off anyway?
We were.
You
yeah.
were.
So what's the problem?
There
I
was
don't
none. It
remember.
just got a little autistic and weird. There were like 3 or 4 autistic people in a car. You know.
I think I know it was high.
The
shit,
the
too.
balance was a little bit off.
It was funny.
The vibe was a little bit off, and you wanted this person out of your car.
I don't know if that was it. I
It was
think
something with like where we were going versus where he was going.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then we went that way and we saw him around the corner. Whatever, it was weird. But
But you did have a good boundary there.
Well, yeah. I mean,
You're like, I will drive you this far.
it's hard for me to hang out with people like that. You know, I have
On
to
the
learn how
spectrum.
to do that. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not used to people like that.
I mean, I'm used to having to deal with people like that at work, and then when I'm off, it's like, what? You got to test my patience in my free time too.
I've
Right.
met a lot
Yeah.
of on the spectrum people at Secret Porn.
Oh yeah.
They
Yeah.
love it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's like a support group, that place.
Yeah, I like it though. If you talk to like an autistic person, you can say whatever you want to them, and it's unlikely they'll get offended.
That's actually true. They
No,
appreciate the
yeah.
directness more
Yes,
times than
yeah.
not. Yeah, which I find Good.
They don't take it
I
personal.
I feel bad actually. I kind
They
of
don't take it
personal.
personal.
Snapped at this guy at work the other day because he was really fucking me up, and I was like kind of in the middle of like killing it. You know, I was like bartending and serving for like 60 people by myself, right?
Yeah.
Like all at once, making cocktails, doing
That's
all
a
this
lot.
shit.
That's a lot.
You know, I run to the kitchen. I asked the manager, I was like, can we make this dish like this? It was garlic shrimp, blah, blah, blah. I was like, can they do no garlic on the shrimp, or is it already in there? You
It's
know,
called
like,
garlic shrimp.
no,
bro.
oh, well, but whatever, you know, like it's a place where you go above and beyond for the guests, right?
Yeah, I get it.
So the manager's like, we can do it this time, whatever. So I send it in. I'm dealing with all these other people. This kid comes up. He's like, the kitchen says that the garlic's already on it. And I was like, I talked to the manager. They're gonna pull out new shrimp. It's all good. He's like, okay, you already talked to the kitchen. I was like, yes, I did. So then he comes back, and I'm in the middle of dealing with all these people. Anyway, he's a food runner. He doesn't do anything. You know what I mean?
Right,
He's just
brings it
bringing
out.
plates to tables. And he's demanding my time when I'm, ringing in, thousands of dollars of product. You know what I mean? So I was like, bro, you're not helping me. Just go away. I got to do my thing. That's kind of how I said it. You know
That's
what I
how
mean?
you gotta be, man.
Yeah. And you know what? I felt
Yeah.
bad for a day or two, but then I saw him the next
No.
day at work, and he's trying to win me over. This guy's like, trying to
nice.
Yeah.
So
now I was going to apologize, but then the fact
Nope.
that, he's like, I think he understands, maybe I taught him a nice lesson.
Exactly.
Well, he's probably used to people getting fed up with him.
That's probably true
Like
too.
you might have been nicer
Yeah.
to him than other people were that day.
Right.
more
Yeah.
patient
Or
with him.
other people just stay shitty with them forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
If you see really like basic girls, especially this applies to everyone. But let's say some basic girls and a super like autistic person here that makes them feel weird. They're like, they're just like.
See, I'm not like that.
Yeah, no.
I'm not like that. I'm just like, get out of my car. But I'm not like gonna be rude.
They wouldn't
like
let him
that.
in the car.
Yeah, see, I would
they'd be
definitely
like,
let
you're
him
not
in the
riding
car.
with us.
Yeah, I would definitely let
That's
him
how
in the
that's
car.
how girls were with me in high school until they found out I was actually kind of cool and
Right.
good at basketball and all that shit too. Because they
Yeah.
thought I would always go to a new
Basketball.
school. In the first couple months, everyone was like, "This guy is so fucking weird." Then basketball season would hit,
Like, oh, he's pretty
and
good.
then they're like, "Oh, this guy's hilarious."
Exactly.
And it's not even
Yeah.
about basketball. It's just like, "Oh, this guy's," and I'm just like, "You guys are so dumb."
That's how
you
it
know?
is. It's a consensus. It's one person likes you, and then they realize everyone else.
And
likes
that's
you.
why I don't respect the general public, and that's why I have
Yeah.
a love-hate relationship with my comedy audiences
Yeah.
too. Unfortunately,
Same.
and like you would laugh at that,
Yeah.
losers.
Pussy,
That's
yeah.
not even my good joke.
Yeah.
It's some of my hackiest material. I'm like, really? That's what you gave me an applause break on?
the,
That?
the stuff we get stuck saying because the audience demands it
It's
on a
so
nightly basis.
crazy. A Subaru joke? Really? Of
Yeah.
course.
I think that's where it's like stand up sometimes doesn't feel fully fulfilling, because it's like you do kind of have to take those sort of not cheap shots, but like those ones at work. You're like,
You have
Yeah.
to, you have
The
to make those
audience is-
compromises.
yeah, the audience is
Right.
dumb-ish. So I know this will work. So you're
Exactly.
feeding the monster, but you're not necessarily feeding it nutritious food.
Yeah.
No, the complicated jokes, the comedians are the only one that laugh at that.
Yes.
But
You know?
but I think that's maybe the art of it, is maybe getting to the point where you can feed them nutritious food where they think it's going down like McDonald's. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yep.
That's true.
Yep.
Uh,
Send them on.
Because
Popeyes.
whenever because I get what you're saying, and then I mean it's a comedy podcast, we can talk about comedy, but
Yeah.
I do think there's a lot of that where as you're learning how to get like good at it and stuff like that, you do like it's like more just like learning the format of it kind of, and then you
Right.
can kind of explore the art form from there. Like you have to figure out how to like draw well in order to do some abstract shit well.
True.
You
And
know?
a lot of it's like pacing and cadence and all the rest of it.
Oh my god!
It's like
yeah.
I said this thing in a
Timing.
funny way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
It's
like,
it's all just playing the instrument. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Uh,
It's how you say it sometimes. It's not about like it's the delivery, the timing,
you're
all
actually
that
saying,
shit.
yeah.
Exactly.
but I also think that we're all getting dumber. Like
Oh, just based on our phones and stuff like that?
yeah, I'm
Oh,
100%
absolutely.
dumber. I've been reading, like making myself read books.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Rachel's
Thank you.
reading books.
I
Thank
love
you.
that.
All right,
it's
let's
not
first of all,
working.
let's start with this. She said plural books.
Yeah,
Yeah.
multiple.
So let's ask her questions about the books she's
Multiple.
reading.
Do it.
All right, what are two of the books that you've read in the last 6 months?
So the book I'm reading currently is called Fiona
Didn't finish.
Range.
Mm.
It's a
I don't-
Shrek at the golf course type
It's
situation.
just okay. I like
Fiona
found it.
Range.
That one is it's fine.
Okay, I'm bored already.
Then I'm reading Rage, which is about the first Trump presidency.
Oh my God, here we go with this
Yeah,
shit.
that one I like because it has short chapters. And then I'm reading
and big words.
You like old people, right?
MASH. I'm reading MASH, like the 70s
book,
show.
yeah.
The book of it. I was like, that one, it might be my favorite. Of
The
the
book
three.
that made a movie that made a TV show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you heard of it?
Oh, I know about MASH. Yeah,
Did you watch it growing up?
Of course.
That was my dad's favorite TV show, actually.
My
Really?
grandfather's.
Yeah, I can hear the music in my head now. With the
Dun, dun,
helicopter.
dun, 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 dun.
Alan Alda is a sexy,
True.
funny man.
He was hot then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even talk like can't even do it, but you
It
got
was
that
like
little
the first
nasally voice.
cross-dresser was on. One of the first cross-dressers
Oh, that's
was on that
right, because
show.
he was trying to get out of the war.
So, okay, but MASH, I mean,
That's so funny. He's just dressing like a woman in
Yep.
fucking Vietnam to
Yep.
go home.
Yep.
well,
Or no, that was it
do that
Vietnam
to
or
get
was
into
it the
women's
Nazis?
bathrooms,
Oh yeah.
It's not just women's bathrooms. It also gets you out of war.
Oh
Wait,
my
what's,
God.
oh, Hogan's Heroes. I'm thinking of Hogan's fucking Heroes.
Well,
Wait,
so-
which one was
MASH
MASH?
is MASH
It's a
is the medical
comedy.
one. They're in the medical tent
Was that the guy who
during the
dressed
Vietnam
up?
War. Yeah, that's
Okay,
the
I'm
right
thinking
one.
of,
Yeah.
I thought it was the Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah, I
guy.
forget the
Okay,
name of the
never mind.
character, but yeah, he was always
Colonel Clink was
That's
the other
it. Yeah, that's it.
I
And then
don't know.
Hot Lips or whatever.
Well, but a comedy set
God,
in a
I'm
fucking
old.
war
Good
zone
stuff.
is kind of brilliant. Like, they did do a good job.
Oh yeah, 70s sitcoms were. I
yeah.
mean, that was kind of the peak of the art of sitcoms. You know, it kind of got popularized more in the 80s and 90s, but All in the Family, your favorites, Sanford and Son, The Jeffersons,
Yeah, the Jeffersons.
even like Three's Company. There was just so much that
Oh, I
was like
love Three's Company.
groundbreaking about that time in sitcoms, and MASH was like considered top of the top because it was like intellectual or whatever,
Yeah.
but and a
was.
little more heartfelt. You know, they'd be like talking about like life and death, and someone's
There's
like
a
dying on the
crash
table,
unit,
and
yeah.
then here comes the laugh track.
Right,
you know?
exactly. Here
But-
comes the transvestite. Oh boy.
Well, it's very much, it's very military, like, I don't know, the book
Coded.
anyway. Yeah, it's like, if you're in the military, you would really identify with it. But it's like, if you were not an American or, like, had any relation to the military.
You wouldn't get it.
Yeah. I don't know, it's very strong, but it's not, like, demonizing either side, you know? A lot
No.
of it there's...
Oh, you mean like in terms of war being like an enemy
Because
and
to me,
like,
like, the Vietnam War is
It's
just
pointless.
bad.
It's
Like, we
pointless.
shouldn't have done
yeah,
that.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like-
Communism,
it's
we
just
shouldn't.
bad.
We
Yeah.
should fight because of
Yeah.
communism. It was dumb. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like, well, the people
we
that
were
were deployed.
war happy back then. You know,
Right.
we had just done a couple cool ones.
That's
We're like,
true.
let's do another
Korea.
cool one.
Well, they realized the big industrial war complex was the start of it. So they realized,
How much money they can make.
exactly,
from
like
war.
private militias, all kinds of stuff. They could make weapons.
Well, and
all
then
that.
if we sell weapons to the terrorists, then we
Correct.
can really create some war situations.
Or we just leave the
And
weapons
we're
there.
supplying weapons to both sides.
yeah, but you just got to give the bigger weapons to the right sides.
Yeah.
And maintain control. That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, independent contractors would sell old AK-47s from.
It's like having a dog fighting
ring.
ring, You got to this
Yeah.
is my prize one. We got to keep him in the best shape. Give him the
I
best
gave
steak.
that pug some knives.
Yeah.
Exactly. And now it's a pit bull.
I'll tell you what, people
Let's
would
go.
feel a lot better about dogfights if they were using weapons instead. You know,
Would they?
If
They
they-
do that with cockfights, though.
if they were just like jousting.
Well,
you
they
know?
could tape.
Oh,
they
that's
could
right.
tape
They
them
do the
to-
little
They have
like
the little,
on their claws. They have
yeah.
like what do you call it? The razors or
yeah,
whatever.
they give the.
That's crazy.
And
Ugh.
they actually fight to the death on some of those.
Ooh,
I mean, the chicken's gonna die anyway. We're gonna eat it. So
exactly. Yeah, whatever. Dogs, I'm a little,
Well,
dogs.
dogs
Right.
is so obvious. Is like you get the love that you put into them.
right.
If you abuse a dog, it'll be aggressive.
Right.
If you love a dog, it'll be sweet.
Yeah,
the
that's
most
true.
part.
I just don't see my cockapoo ever like fighting.
That's
even
a
if I
far off
trained her.
descendant. Yeah.
Even if
It'd
I
be
those
smart
wolves,
though.
yeah.
Those poodles are smart.
Yeah, they're smart, but I don't think she could ever fight.
Mm.
But I mean, yeah, cockfighting. I used to bet on that. It's fun.
Really?
We could go to Queens right now. Well, it's too. Well,
You bet on it? You mean you
Too
went
early?
to cockfights? You can't bet on it unless you're there. Right?
that's what I mean. We could go and bet on it
Oh
if you
my
want.
god!
Yeah.
Wow. They used to have one.
It's fun.
At the pet store.
What?
On Central Avenue.
I love New York.
Yes.
At the pet store.
Yeah, in the basement they had like 60 like fighting hens or whatever.
Wow, that's innovative, yo. Come get your dog food and then stay for the cockfight in the basement. That's
Well, the
awesome,
store's
bro.
still there. Like,
Get some chicken fingers on the way out.
Exactly.
It did smell bad, though.
Well, yeah, there's a bunch of chicken shit everywhere, yeah.
And I don't know where they were fighting, but that's where they, like, housed them.
I've never walked into a pet store and I'm like, oh, it smells good in here.
Yeah,
No.
but I guess you wouldn't notice. You're like, it smells like there is a lot of dead chickens
It
in
smells
here.
like an aquarium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Nasty.
Dude, aquariums smell the worst out of all of them.
They do.
For some reason. I don't know why that is. Maybe that standing water.
Fish poop.
Exactly. Stanky fish.
How's your bird?
My bird is so sweet. I wish he were a little sweeter.
Is it a little mean?
Yeah, no,
My
he's not
bird.
mean. He's just like, I need a cuddle animal, you know.
That ain't a
Like,
bird.
He'll sit on my shoulder. He'll sit on my finger, and then that's it.
Yeah. You ever try to cuddle a bird? That thing will freak the fuck out.
Or you'll kill it, you know.
Some birds will let you be a little more aggressive, but it's like I want to respect his autonomy.
Right.
He's only this big, you know.
Yeah.
What
Little
is
guy.
that, a parakeet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's good. He has a good parakeet. Like he's very social for that.
They're pretty smart, too,
Yeah,
from what I've seen.
but
Yeah,
I miss having rabbits. So it's like I think I'm more of a rabbit person.
Yeah, you definitely seem like a rabbit person.
yeah, you
I love
definitely do
birds.
seem like a rabbit person.
Bird people are weird though.
Yeah.
I think bird people are, like, especially
Damaged.
girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and they're smart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
I
they're
can
pretty
see that.
smart. Any girl that I've known that had a bird was pretty intellectually smart.
I guess so. Bird people I would consider similar to snake people.
No.
Snake people are crazy.
Snake people are
Really?
weird. They're like socio or psychopaths.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't see
know.
it. I guess that's how I see the.
They're
bird
like into
people.
threesomes where someone dies at the end, you know?
Right. And they still fuck them after.
Mhm.
Nasty, bro.
Yeah.
Necrophilia in the house.
little python on your penis.
Exactly. Ooh.
Excellent work.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They're all weird, but it's like the snake and the bird only like the one person, and they take a lot to like win them over. So you
Yeah.
have to have patience to charm the animal,
I get
and then
that.
they have a lot of allegiance to just you.
Yeah. Fuck birds. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't like birds. That's it.
But you are getting a dog.
No.
It's just a bit that he says.
My God.
What?
He talks that
You've
shit.
done that same joke for what, 2 years?
Yes.
And you're not even getting a dog?
No,
No.
he's not.
I feel like you got to get a dog just to make the joke work.
No.
Nah.
Ah.
Nah. Nah.
Ah.
Nah. It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
But do you
And
want
also-
to have kids?
if I could bring it into a happy, healthy world.
Fuck
yes.
that.
Well,
Just,
that's not going to happen.
yeah, that's never
Well,
gonna happen.
not even. I can't control the whole world, but I can control my circumstances to an
True.
extent.
Yeah.
So what I don't want to do is bring a child into the world when I can't even pay for myself to live when I'm in
Yes.
debt. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Or at least have a track to being in a good financial situation. Because personally, I grew up poor,
Yep.
and I had a complex from it, and still to this day do probably.
Yeah.
I definitely do.
I do too, yeah.
So it's like I don't want to raise a child to feel like they're less than and give them a hard life. That's all.
Yeah.
And the United States is one of the best places in the world to live. And I think, I don't know. If the timing works out, I would love to have children. But if the timing doesn't work out, that doesn't define my life.
Yeah. That's very
True.
healthy.
Yeah.
I definitely have shit still from growing up. Not poor, but like feeling poor, you know?
Yeah.
Not feeling like secure.
Having an outhouse,
Yeah.
churning your own butter.
But there are a lot of outhouses back home. I don't know.
Did you even visit West Virginia if you didn't shit outside?
No,
Yeah.
100% no. My friend in high school, she
West
peed. No, she pooed. She pooed in the woods. We were like running for cross country, and she wiped with poison ivy. Yeah.
That's
And
just-
she's a brilliant girl, but that was dumb. And she had to go on steroids. She missed school for a couple days.
Damn. It's like a Three Stooges episode that got super real.
Yeah.
Bro, she got some poison ivy on her butthole. God damn, bro. God bless her, man. Wonder if it changed colors, like if her butthole was pink and now it's brown.
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Let's text her.
Well, let's call her.
She's a doctor. She
Yeah.
would probably like message me and be like, "Oh
Well,
yeah."
actually, what had happened was
But I was pooping at the same time because
Nice.
like when you run it.
Yeah, it
loosens
comes
you up.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're on a trail. There's no bathrooms.
No, that's how cross country.
But I'm
is.
not an idiot, so I didn't end up with poison ivy.
Right.
Yeah. I always try to take a shit before I go for a run. Who wants to run with that inside you anyway?
Yeah, you prairie dog it.
Ugh.
I used
Yeah.
to when I was doing meets and like track meets and shit, I would wear a maxi pad just in case.
Yep.
Just in case you shit yourself?
Pee or shit.
Diaper.
Jesus. Yeah, why don't you just get a diaper? Because a maxi pad is like...
people would notice. They like slap you on the butt and they're like, why is this
nice and warm and smushy.
The maxi pad's just on the bottom.
So when they're doing that, they're like, damn, this girl's got a heavy flow. Exactly. I like that.
She smells
that's
like
my girl.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a woman.
Yeah, that's a real woman right
it's
there.
Tough.
Full
it's
of
tough
shit.
being a woman.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
But you don't want kids, Sheri?
We did, yeah. My wife and I definitely wanted kids.
And you gave up?
Yeah, she found out I was cheating during COVID. So, stop the train, you know what I'm saying?
You were cheating during COVID, or that's when she found out?
That's when she found out.
Okay.
I was
like,
cheating.
That's tough during COVID. You're like locked
time.
down, sneaking out.
I was lying. I was lying and saying I was like doing BLM protests and stuff.
Are you serious?
My God.
But I was doing them. I was doing them, bro.
That's what hell is
I
for.
was doing BLM
That's
protests.
how you would cheat? You would
Yeah,
say you were
bro.
going to
Oh
Black
my
Lives Matter
God.
protests?
There was
and you
so
just-
many.
Oh
There was
my
so many.
God.
So I would go
God.
to one, and then the other three I said I was going to, and I wasn't. But at least I supported one.
Yeah, so you dropped
Yeah.
in, yeah.
Yeah, or we would do like what is
So
it?
tech- technically
Posted a black
wasn't
square
lying.
on her
Yeah.
Insta.
I did that, then I deleted it because it's corny. It's corny as fuck. Because black people know that I'm down for the cause. Like if
Oh
you're
my
black,
Yeah,
you
when
can
you're
tell I'm
hooking
down for
up
the
with
cause.
people at the protests.
Or was it
Nah.
unrelated to the protests?
Nah, yeah, well.
Were you getting protest pussy? Or were you...
Yeah, two of them.
Yeah.
Two of the girls.
Two of
I
them.
was.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
two of the girls.
Yeah, you
You
were a
did
serial
try.
cheater. You had a problem.
Yeah.
We're so glad you're rehabilitated.
Sex and Lovers Anonymous.
Pretty good. What are
But-
those meetings like?
I haven't gone in a few weeks, but they're okay.
Oh, you go that often?
Yeah, I don't really talk about it.
Yeah,
a
I
lot,
noticed that.
but,
I know a lot about you, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Everyone's ugly and fat, so it's uncomfortable.
That's why
Yeah.
it's anonymous.
And they're all so horny.
Yeah, and I'm just like, well, no wonder, you know.
Yeah, it'd be worse if they were super hot. You're
Right.
like, I'm not gonna
Is
get
that-
anything out of this.
I'm like,
Yeah,
ugh.
no one tells them to stop fucking if they're hot.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you're ugly,
Exactly.
they're like, stop fucking, stop jacking off. You
Right,
know?
right.
Just
Exactly.
slow down and have a family with a big girl. You know.
Relax, yeah, but nah.
Well, what's the psychology behind that? Like, did you feel a lot of shame or?
I think I came out younger than I should have, and there wasn't a lot of gay people when I came out. So when Gen Z came out, there's such an influx and so many like hot. Well, I shouldn't say hot. I should say my type of girls that weren't
Young and
Very-
vibrant.
yeah, young, vibrant, smart, and highly sexual. But there wasn't that much of that back in the day. So then I took advantage of it and was like, let's fucking go. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah. But whatever. I mean, I'm sure there's more to it, but
I don't know. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's a lot more open and accessible now.
right.
People are sex positive. They're
Yeah.
either sex positive or they're incels. They're just like, no.
There's no in between. Yeah.
Yeah.
Red pill, blue pill type shit.
Yeah.
I try to ride the middle, but
Yeah, you're pretty good at that. I saw two girls making out today, and I wanted to run them over in my car. Because I was like, fuck y'all, man. You're in the street just making out and nothing's happening to you.
Yeah,
Good
no one's
for
throwing
you.
things.
Yeah, no one's
Oh,
spitting
I
on
see.
you, and no one's fucking...
you're just jealous of the lack of
Yeah,
homophobia in their
yeah.
makeout session.
Exactly. I'm like,
That's
fuck
when
you,
I was
man.
growing up. I didn't know that lesbians.
I wish
could
I was
be
there
hot.
to do it for
I
them.
know.
Like the
Oh, that
only
they couldn't be ugly?
hot. Like no,
It's
the
true.
only lesbians I had met were very, very mask and like just not. They're West Virginia butch
Lumberjack.
ladies.
Oh, you thought all lesbians were ugly.
Oh yeah.
I see.
So like my
They
first
were.
like, girl crush was insanely
They
hot.
were. What was I supposed to do?
And
So
I
I
just
fucked straight
assumed
girls.
she
What are you gonna
wasn't
do?
a
Yeah,
lesbian.
that makes sense.
Yeah. I
yeah.
was like, I just didn't know that you could be both.
And
now the young
they
kids
dated
are hot
each
as
other
hell.
too. They looked
Yeah.
they looked like exactly
Yes.
the person.
That like
Yes.
reminds me of like when I used to fuck white women. And
Yep,
I was like,
yep.
all right, well, I'm going to stop fucking white women because I don't fuck bitches anymore.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
No
Dumb
offense, but,
whores.
yeah.
No.
I'm just kidding. But
It's a joke. It's a joke.
No, I feel the same way about like Americans. I was like, I don't.
You are American, you dumb
I know.
bitch.
You
You're
dumb
from
bitch.
West Virginia, born
Yeah.
and raised.
You're-
with
I'm
you.
trying to get a green card somewhere. I was like, I'm just wildly more attracted.
why don't
to
we start our
anyone
own
that's not
country? We'll cut it
American.
right down the middle. We'll do our own
It gives
country.
you options. You're like, like, wow, I can go like have surgery in Greenland.
Yeah.
Or
I
get
whatever.
that.
Yeah, I understand someone that has health issues and that
Yeah.
why you wouldn't want to be American. Although I will say,
Luigi.
looks like we're getting our meds figured out a little bit, cutting down on the prices. But you know,
hopefully.
we'll see how that goes. But
Well, the Luigi's trial is 2026.
oh,
He
yeah,
didn't do
you're
it.
still talking about Luigi. Yeah.
Yes, because
You love
his
him.
trial is not until next year.
Right.
Is that like
Why didn't you go visit him and suck his dick?
because
They
then I'd
won't-
be on a list.
Yeah, I was gonna say they won't let
Let's
it
get a
get
long line.
Yeah, let some younger mouths go
There's
for
a
it.
long line. Yeah. I actually did think about it. I was like, oh, I should mail him a letter. But I was like, you know, that's gonna be instantly like on the list.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But
They'll look for you.
like he killed this person allegedly
You should write
in
Diddy.
2024,
Yeah.
and he's not tried until 2026. So it's like even if he were innocent, then we're
He loses
incarcerating
2
people
years
for
of his life, yeah.
a year and a half
Wasting it.
before they
That's
even
how it
get
goes.
to trial.
Well,
That's
it
how it
sounds
goes.
like he probably did it, but they might not be able to
Prove it.
prove it,
Correct.
I'm fine with that.
which would be cool.
Free Luigi.
Yeah.
We love you, Luigi.
We
Oh,
love
well,
you, mommy, daddy.
I'm fine with Luigi being like prosecuted for murder, but I think that corporations should have prosecutions for murder as well because
Right.
currently there's zero repercussions. Like if you're a company and you cause someone to die,
Well, yeah.
Nothing
look
happens.
at the Sackler family with the opiate crisis. Like,
yeah, exactly.
They paid $6 billion in their vital. What was it? The fifth vital or whatever it was. Like, you know that when you go to the hospital or whatever. Do you remember as when we were kids, they never asked you this, but now they ask you. This is the chart. Where are you on the pain chart? 1, 2.
Yes.
Right. Is
They
it
never
a 2?
had that before
Is
the
it a
opiate
6?
crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they
Yeah.
invented that because of that. So they should be in jail just from what they did to people, I think. But
Well, the
what are you
pain
gonna
scale
do?
is fucking stupid anyway because women can tolerate much higher levels of pain than men.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like my poor grandma had a broken hip. She was missing all of the like I don't know, the little gaps in her spine.
Ligaments, yeah.
It was just like her spine was grinding on itself.
Right,
And
bone
she'd be
on
like,
bone.
oh, it's probably like a 3, maybe a 4. I was like, she couldn't walk.
Because she was humble.
Yeah, like
She
she-
wanted
from the
to play
Great
it was
down.
Depression.
9.
Yeah,
It
she's
was
not
a 9,
playing.
you
Yeah,
know, but
uh-huh.
she just said 3 or 4.
Yeah, Gen
Even-
Z would have been like 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't have handled it right.
Yeah. After my surgeries, I'd be like,
Gangsta.
oh, you know, it's like maybe a 6. And I'm like, I'm missing a large part of my chest. Like, if that's not a 10, then what the fuck is a 10?
Oh, is that what
That's a
happened to
10.
you?
That's a 10.
Well, haha.
Sorry.
Okay, I guess for me, a 10 would be you get run over by a lawnmower and your legs are like ripped to shreds and you're
That's-
bleeding out.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah, that's a 10. So it's like if a period is a 4.
But is that
Then how
a
do I
10
place-
though? Is that the most painful thing, or is that just like the most gruesome?
I think it would be okay. The most pain.
Because
is,
would you feel it at that point? I'm sure you'd feel
You'd be-
something.
I'd
In the
blacked
beginning,
out.
you would feel it. Yeah.
But that's like road rash. It was like that's
that
the
looks
most pain.
painful. Yeah.
But the epidermis is like that's where your nerve endings are the strongest. So if I broke my bone, I'd have more pain in like my skin than I would in the actual bone.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, what did we learn today? Insurance companies are bad. Imagine that.
they are bad.
Imagine
They are
that.
bad.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I'll tell you what.
I'm
I don't.
against it.
I don't like insurance.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, and you too. If I had sex with 3 of my female therapists over 20 years span of
It's
therapy,
impressive.
and insurance paid for it, technically, like, did insurance pay for sex work?
I think that makes you a pimp, daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had insurance pay for
into
my
it.
sex. What up? Thank you,
It's
Blue Cross Blue
subsidized.
Shield.
Yeah, it's like when you fuck a coworker. You know, that's just a little benefits. You know, company
Exactly.
benefits. You know,
That's true.
Yeah.
I've
United
never
Care.
paid for sex
Fuck yeah.
directly.
that's good. Yeah.
Indirectly.
Well, we all pay for it in karma,
Yeah.
Yeah.
one way or another.
True.
Whether we did a good deed or a bad deed by doing it.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Sometimes it's neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I know you have totally different ideas about everything.
I
but
do.
I love
do.
that though.
I just think everything has some sort of reaction. You know, that's all.
Well-
Whether internal or external.
Okay, so post nut clarity.
Mm.
Do you
We
find
only
you
got a
have
couple
that,
minutes, by the way.
Because I find I have post nut clarity. Like even if I'm just jerking off, I'm like, ew, that was gross.
That's your own shame.
I guess so.
That's not clarity.
But it's not like necessarily an only dude thing.
no.
You're just like, you know what? That was a silly thing I just chased.
Exactly. Right.
The
But
same could be said about a good meal.
or a good
Post-meal
drug or a
clarity.
good, you
Yeah.
know.
Just like, I want
Okay,
I want to eat
gas.
ice cream and a double cheeseburger, and and then you
Oh.
eat it and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that,
True.
Right. But
True.
it tastes good in the moment, feels good in
But
the
I
moment.
still feel satiated. I'd be like, oh, that was worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it.
Well, cumming's good for you from what I hear. Never
Yeah,
done
it's
it
good for your
myself.
heart. Once,
I'm
that's why
edging.
old dudes, they have heart attacks.
I've
'Cause
been
they, like,
edging for 33 years, personally.
Damn. That's some gay shit.
edging is
That's
not
some gay
something
shit.
I would have known about before the internet.
Yeah, the internet's good for stuff.
Good for edging.
Yeah, the internet's good for edging. It's good for, learning about different kings from the 15th century in France.
Yeah, for sure.
It's good for figuring out how to, get paid $10 an hour to take surveys online.
Yeah. I mean,
What else is the internet good for? It's good for finding your favorite podcast, the Pimp Daddy Podcast on
Find us.
YouTube and
Yeah.
Spotify.
Yes.
Apple Podcasts. It's good for finding Rachel Kenaston on Instagram and Etsy to buy your products.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Etsy.
what's your-
Etsy
we're,
in
we're,
there.
always,
we love Rachel. Very
we're always
talented.
talking about people's Instagrams, but where can they find your Etsy? Because you make really cool shit.
She does.
I do. Thank you.
She does.
I have a Redbubble, T-Threads, and Etsy. It's all on my website.
Nice.
Okay.
There's a shop tab.
And what's
You
your
can go to shop.
website? RachelKenaston.com?
Hell yeah.
I love that.
Hell
Cool.
yeah.
RachelKenaston.com.
So if you're into weird hippie chicks from West Virginia making political stuff and cool arts and stuff like that, go check
Yeah.
out her
Yeah,
website.
it's in. It's very much in.
And you have an OnlyFans too, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Well,
They wouldn't let me on.
right.
They wouldn't let you on.
They're
They
like-
let
No,
me
they
on
said
and
you
not
only
you.
have one good boob.
they're,
Oh, damn.
they're like, you need more than
Hey.
dial-up
It's
internet.
50%
Yeah.
off, you know? Just,
That's true.
Who
You're
gives a
like, you're the
shit?
deep discount girl.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for coming by. It's
Hell
always
yeah,
a
this
pleasure to
is
see
fun.
you. We always bring you back. You're the shit. We
I
love
love
you.
her as a repeat guest for sure.
Anything you want to say coming up? I mean, anything else you want to say before we leave? I mean, they know who we are and all that
No,
shit.
yeah, just follow my Instagram, TikTok.
Come
Tip
see a show
Daddy,
sometime. Me and
subscribe.
Sherry have been really busy doing shit. So come
Yeah.
visit us. You know,
Yep.
come see us out in the wild.
Yep, exactly. I made fun of my friends for coming to my shows, and I take it back. Please come. Please come back to my shows.
A year later, she's
Exactly.
like, guys, I miss you.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. Please come to my shows.
All right.
No.
Fuck yeah. All right. We'll
Yeah,
see you
Pimp
next
Daddy
week.
Podcast. We are out.
Peace.
You